you'll see. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another episode of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with Jay Dash. We're bringing a 3-and-out episode your way today. We're going to talk about Andrew Luck, Adrian Peterson, and who's the other guy?
Steve Smith.
Steve Make Money Smith.
Done for the season.
Done for his career.
Who we starting with?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Who we starting with here? Andrew Luck?
Let's do it.
Well, what do you think of his season so far?
Beat nuts.
Terrible?
Dude's got broken ribs, a bum shoulder, no offensive line, no running game. Andre Johnson's garbage. He's getting beat up.
Yeah, a lot of people comparing him to the likes of Colin Kaepernick now, you were saying?
Not that bad. But yeah, ESPN compared him, Kaepernick, and RG3. It was pathetic.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that people are already down on this guy. I mean, he is having a rough season so far, just 13 touchdowns compared to 12 interceptions. But people have down years all the time. We've seen Big Ben have down years before when he had his appendectomy after he wrecked his bike. He had a down year that year for sure. So, I mean, you can't be down on this guy already. You look last season, man. He almost had 5,000 yards passing, 40 touchdowns compared to 16 interceptions. This guy's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't care what his stats say this season because they just don't have a great team around him right now.
Not at all. I mean, they got T.Y. Hilton and Dante Moncrief, and, I mean, their tight ends aren't bad, but their O-line's garbage, and there's no running game.
Coby Fleener's garbage, although he did play with Andrew Luck in college, and I know Andrew Luck likes that guy, but Coby Fleener, he can't block, he can't catch, he runs terrible routes. This guy, he can't come up with the big plays, but he's by no means a good tight end, and Dwayne Allen is a guy that just can't stay healthy, so he does have a decent tight end when he's healthy, but Andre Johnson, like you said, he's old and beat. T.Y. Hilton ain't having the same type of season he had
beat up
last
a little
year.
Bit this year.
Yeah, actually, he got hurt at the end of last year, and it looks like that's still a factor. It's still lingering. It's still a factor to this point.
Give him the snickle fritz. You know what Luck's total QBR is this year?
I do. Go ahead and say it.
37.6. You know what that ranks?
Probably low.
30th.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck. That's crazy. They fired Pep Hamilton. I don't know if you said that. I wasn't listening. I was looking up stats.
No.
The offensive coordinator for the Colts. He was the offensive coordinator for Luck at Stanford. So they brought him along to Indianapolis. I think it was after Luck's first year, but now he's gonzo. I don't know who they brought in to replace him or if they just promoted somebody, but we know it's not going to be Chuck Pagano. He's a defensive guy. He's not going to call the plays.
And let's not forget, Luck has a shoulder injury, a rib injury, and even so, we seen against one of the best defenses last week in Carolina. Carolina went up big on him. It was raining. The announcers were talking down on Luck, saying he just doesn't look like himself. The rain stops, and Andrew Luck drives him straight down the field twice, comes back, ties the game, goes into overtime. They did end up losing in that game, but you still see Andrew Luck has it in him. And when he gets healthy, I still think, I mean, you look at this division. The Colts are 3-5 at the top of the division, right?
Yeah, tied with the Texans.
So there you go. We were talking down on the Texans on our last 3-and-out, and we said they could come back in this division because the division's so bad. And look, they're tied with the Colts at the top of the division. You can talk down on Luck all you want, but the fact is, he still has the best chance to make the playoffs in that division.
The way I see it is Luck's just beat up. People like Colin Kaepernick, people like RG3, they had skills to be successful, but not long-term in the NFL. I am not big on mobile quarterbacks, and we differ a little bit on these views. But they took RG3 and Cap and took a mobile guy and tried to force him into a pocket passer. Luck's a pocket passer. He knows the game. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the game already. He had 40 touchdowns last year. He hasn't lost it. He just doesn't have enough parts around him, and he's beat up. He's just having a rough year. It happens.
So who do you think is going to win that division? Is it still Indy?
It's still Indy, yeah. The Colts have, and I'm going to go JK-47 on you here, the best quarterback in the division. And that's not just their division. It's in most of football. He's still a great quarterback. He'll get it figured out. He'll get a little healthier. They might be able to get the running game going. What's the dude they just signed? Omar Bradshaw?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not great, but you might be able to use him and Gore in like a combo or a little 1-2 punch. They might be able to get the ball moving a little bit, get some play action passing going. That'll help take a little pressure off of Luck from the pass rush.
They got to get a better offensive line.
So,
Simple as that.
if they can see, if whoever they bring in for the new coordinator, you can try at least for the rest of this year, have like one of those mobile pocket type passing games, you know what I mean, where Luck gets to roll out a little more, or some quick passes to get the ball out of his hands, because they're not going to be able to find anybody to come in and be better right now. And obviously if they're not playing good, they might start playing better, but they're probably not gonna. So they're gonna have to scheme a little bit to try to get around that weakness for the rest of this season at least. But it's got to be the Colts all the way.
So if you were starting a franchise and every player was in free agency,
Andrew Luck still.
You number one?
Yep.
Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Not Aaron Rodgers? I mean,
No.
Rodgers has some time left still.
I don't like Rodgers.
You don't like Rodgers,
His
huh?
commercials annoy me.
Well, Andrew Luck's a terrible actor.
He's got that beard and that caveman voice. I love it.
How about the one guy that looks like Aaron Rodgers from London or whatever?
Yeah,
That's
I like it.
hilarious.
I like it a lot.
I like Aaron Rodgers, man. He's good.
He is
He
good.
had to sit for 5 years behind Brett Favre.
Dude, he should have had to sit for 10 years. Favre's the man. Nobody should have. He should be still playing. He's
You're dead
better
wrong.
than Michael Vick.
Yeah, probably, man.
Who's up next?
Who do you want to go with?
Stevie Smith Sr. You always forget the senior. You know he's going to be pissed.
He
put
is a
that in his
senior
name.
now.
I know.
And this was supposed to be his swan song, correct? Coming into the
Yep,
season.
that's it. Oh, it's my last year.
he
I'm
said he
going
was-
Derek Jeter on everybody.
Yeah.
You suck, Smith.
And look, he had 46 receptions, 670 yards, and 3 touchdowns. This guy sucks. You love this guy.
I know, I do. I'm just hating on him. I love Steve Smith. I just hate the Ravens.
Look, he was on pace for 1,000 yards this season, though, man.
Dude's beast.
I mean, I know that's the only receiver they had out there, but he went down with the ACL tear.
Achilles.
Oh, I thought he had an ACL tear.
I think it's his Achilles, because he grabbed the back of his heel
Mm.
whenever he went down. So I think it was misreported at first.
All right.
I could be wrong, but I mean, you
Well, who
don't
knows?
grab
This
your
guy's
heel
done
when
for
you
the
tear your
season,
ACL.
obviously. And I knew this guy was going to say after he went down, I'm going to come back.
Yeah,
And that's exactly
he's
what
already
he said.
saying it. Yeah,
He wants to come back for another season. And really, I mean, this guy still has it, obviously.
bring him to Pittsburgh.
Well, it depends on how he heals, obviously.
Right.
But this guy is obviously a beast. Like I said, he's on pace for 1,000 yards this season. He's actually 10th all-time in receiving yardage with 13,932 yards receiving. And if he had stayed healthy this season, he could have probably passed Marvin Harrison for 7th all-time. But if he does come back for another season, I would say he has a slight possibility to get into the top 5 above Tony Gonzalez, who has 15,127 yards. He'd need like 1,200 yards next season.
The only thing that worries me is he's made a career on being able to get in and out of his cuts so fast and so crisp because
And
he's
he
a
catches
small
everything.
guy. Is he still going to be able to do that with the blown out Achilles at his age? Is he going to be able to
that's a big
create
question.
separation? That's going to be the hard part for him. The will, the drive, the skill, the catching, all that will still be there. Just will that poor guy's body still be able to do it after all these years? He got beat up in Carolina too. I can't believe Carolina let him
He
go.
used
when
to
they
be my
did.
favorite receiver when he was in Carolina, actually.
If Cam Newton
guy was
still
a
had
beast.
him, I mean, I know he hurt himself. It could have been a little different. But imagine Cam Newton with last year. It was Kelvin Benjamin. He could have had
And
Benjamin
Steve
and
Smith.
Steve Smith. That would have been beast.
That would have been beast mode. You could see how good Steve Smith is because there aren't many Baltimore receivers that blow it up like Steve Smith did since he came over to Baltimore.
And there's never been a Baltimore player that got respect from me other than Steve Smith.
I like Ed Reed.
I hated that dude.
I'm sure you did. Cordell Stewart.
No, he didn't have respect for me when he was a Steeler.
He had that big season. You loved him that big season.
One
you
good
had
year.
to.
I did not love nobody. I actually met Yancey Thigpen the year before he was a starter and told him that he was going to be the starter the next year and got his autograph.
Yeah. The
Or
first
Cordell
time that
Stewart.
dude
I'm
came
sorry, I
in,
think
he
I
had
said
like a
Yancey
diving
Thigpen.
catch. It was beast. I love the Yancey Thigpen. But he's
Met
no
him
Steve
and
Smith,
Stewart.
I'll tell you that. Look at this, man. 137 yards versus San Francisco. 186 yards versus Cincinnati. 150 yards versus Oakland this season. This dude is still a beast. I know he's 36 years old, but unlike Adrian Peterson, who we're going to talk about here in a minute, I
Steve
think,
Smith doesn't beat his kids?
well, that, I guess, yeah, maybe. Who knows? But I think this guy could play till he's 40 years old. At least be a possession receiver because he catches everything.
He could be one of those guys like Hines was late in his career and just get a first down every time he touches the ball. I feel bad for Steve Smith. I liked him. He just
I
wanted
feel
to
bad
go to
for
a
him
team.
ever since he went to Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to go to a team that had a shot at still winning a Super Bowl. I guess it kind of seemed that way at the beginning of last year for them, but they fizzled out last year and they haven't done anything this year.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Smith or no Steve Smith, Baltimore wasn't doing anything this season.
He said he would have quit if they would have traded him before he got hurt. He wouldn't have played for anybody else.
Not even Carolina?
No, that's what he said.
You'd think he'd love to be on Carolina right now, where they're sitting.
Yeah.
7-0, correct?
Way better in Baltimore.
Please believe. But maybe he just loves it in Baltimore, man. He loves riots in the streets.
That's it. The mean streets. DC's pretty close. You can get medical marijuana there legally. Anything else about Steve Smith before we have to talk about the child abuser?
Nah, just that he's one of the best receivers all time.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have in their heyday, Reggie Wayne or Steve Smith?
It's a tough question.
It is. That's why I asked it.
Man, I don't know. I'd have to go Steve Smith because I liked his heart.
I'd go Steve Smith, too. I think Peyton Manning had a lot to do with Wayne's success. Look who Steve Smith did it with.
Jake Delhomme.
Yeah, Jake Delhomme. Kerry Collins might have threw him some passes.
Man, Jake Delhomme. He was solid.
Who, Kerry Collins?
No, Jake Delhomme.
Yeah, he was all right, I guess. He's no Peyton Manning, I tell you that.
No, but he was a solid
Look, Marvin
starter.
Harrison 7th on the list, Reggie Wayne 8th on the list. Steve Smith would have definitely passed Reggie Wayne this season if it had stayed healthy. And Marvin Harrison, most likely.
It always makes me laugh that T.O.'s second.
He was a beast, dude.
I know, but he's just hated so much. You know what I mean? You forget how great he really was because all you think about is the hate whenever you think about him.
I mean, Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, top 3. That makes sense to me.
And what did Owens play 14 years?
Did all 3 of those play for San Francisco?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Randy Moss was there for a little while.
How long did Moss play?
A long time.
16 years. And T.O. played 14
No,
years.
15 years for
15.
Moss.
Oh, yeah.
No, they both played the same amount of seasons.
Screw T.O. Do sit-ups in the freaking driveway. Let's talk about Peterson. This isn't a T.O.
Adrian
segment.
Peterson. Everybody loved this guy before he beat his kid, obviously. He was like the most famous player in the NFL. Everybody
Dude's
wanted
got
to
a
see this
bionic
guy
knee.
win. Yeah, he's a beast, obviously. You
He's
look
like Marley.
in career numbers, he's 22nd all-time in rushing with 10,823 yards. Yeah, but then he went out and beat his kid, and everybody sort of started rooting against him.
And we
I
also
would guess-
found out through that, though, that Johnny Parlay used to get pine cones shoved in his mouth when he was a kid.
Yeah, that's
So
the
that was
only
quite
positive
interesting.
that came out of that, though. But look, now Adrian Peterson comes back, and he's having a pretty good season so far. What's he have? He's on your team. 633 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'd like to see him get in the end zone more. He's not used too much in the passing game, but you can tell he's still one of the better running backs in football. But he comes out and says he is the Michael Jordan of football.
That's it. That's what he thinks.
That is a joke, to tell you the truth. First of all, any running back can't be the Michael Jordan of football. It has to be a quarterback, obviously, because they're the only one that can take their team to multiple championships like Michael Jordan did. And let me say this, too. Go win a couple championships, retire, go play a different sport, come back, play again, and win another championship. If you do that, I'll start calling you the Michael Jordan of football.
I'll never call him the Michael Jordan of football because he doesn't stick his tongue out when he's driving through the line and blasting people. That's what you got to do to be Jordan. Peterson's beast, but like you said, he's 22nd on the rushing list. Or what? You know, that's not
All time, yeah.
That's not Michael Jordan-esque. That dude's beast. I mean, I know Jordan doesn't lead the NBA in scoring by any means because you had those beasts like Wilt and Bill Russell and Kareem. But no, Jordan put the freaking team on his back. Peterson, I mean, he carried an
How many
offense.
championships do you have?
But
6?
yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
How many does Minnesota have since they drafted Peterson?
Did they even win the division yet?
I know they made the playoffs a couple times there.
Oh yeah. Well, was he there with Culpepper, or was Culpepper gone already?
Obviously not, man. Quit being stupid.
Sorry, man. I get my numbers mixed up.
But Adrian Peterson, great football player, but now he's
Horrible
coming out.
human being.
Yeah, so first he beats his kid. Second, he says he's the Michael Jordan of football, which is the biggest joke in the world. Now he's coming out and saying he can play till he's 40 years old.
Yeah,
It's This is a guy that's 30 years old right now. I bet you he feels great. He came off of a season where he didn't play because he beat his kid. He comes back, he feels fresh, he feels great. Do this for 10 more years. Yeah, hilarious, man.
No way this guy's going for 10 more years. He's already slowing down. You can see it this season. If he plays 5 more years, I'd be surprised. How old is he? 29, 30?
30.
Yeah.
30 years old.
No freaking running backs playing when they're 40. Who's he think he is? Jim Brown?
Well, listen, if he plays for 10 more years, averaged 800 yards a season, that's what, 8,000 more yards?
Yeah.
He would be first all-time in rushing yardage, just above Emmitt Smith, who would have something like 500 less yards than him.
He'll never catch Emmett. I don't think any running back's ever going to catch him because I just don't think that you're going to get enough chances to do it in today's style of football. But
yeah, Emmitt Smith was a starting running back for 15 years.
Yeah, ridiculous. There's no way Peterson gets there. How many?
Peterson's already done it 9, so he has 6 more seasons to gain 8,000 more yards to go on Emmitt Smith's pace.
Steven Jackson is ahead of Peterson on the rushing list?
Please believe. He played for, 3 more seasons than him so far. So did Frank Gore. He's above him, too. I mean, Peterson's going to pass those
Work
guys.
done. That's pretty funny. Loved work done.
Jerome Bettis, number 6.
Please believe.
Curtis Martin, Alderdice son, number 4.
I liked Curtis Martin.
Me too. My favorite.
Danian Tomlinson was the guy I thought actually had a shot at Emmett, and then he started getting beat up late in his career, and then the Chargers went down for a while.
Barry Sanders definitely could have done it.
Yeah, he just quit.
But I thought LaDainian was the closest thing to Barry Sanders since Barry Sanders retired.
I loved LaDainian Tomlinson. That dude was beast, too. They don't make him like that anymore.
But Adrian Peterson, I used to love this guy. Always want him in fantasy. Always pay attention to what he's doing. Now, I sort of want him to fail.
No, man. He's on my fantasy team.
Well, that's even more reason.
Why?
We play this week.
I don't hate on your dudes.
We play this week, so why would I not want him to fail this week?
You want him to be successful because you always want to beat the best. You don't want to win against somebody who broke their leg. That's cheap.
Well, no matter what happens, I'm not playing the best, Mr. 3-5.
Oh, I am the best. In order to be the best, you got to beat the best.
JK47's the one that's 8-0. If I
Dude's
wanted to play the
garbage.
best, I'd play
He
him.
cheats. I think he learned how to hack the computer.
You're dead wrong. He's just making smarter moves than you.
I don't even make any moves.
Yeah, right.
I just sit there. You're beating me by 2 points in that league.
So who do you like the most? Andrew Luck, Steve Smith, or Adrian Peterson?
I'm going to go with Luck. I mean, well, if Steve Smith plays again, I love Steve Smith. But if you're going to go,
if you're looking future, Andrew Luck's your guy. Or,
I'm not even just talking about playing. Like, to me, if Steve Smith retires, then he's out of the question.
Yeah, I'm
he's not
saying
gonna play anymore.
25 years from now, who are you going to look back and say that was the man?
Well, see, if Andrew Luck can go beat Tom Brady and in a couple AFC championship games, or maybe even if he just goes and bangs Giselle and then it becomes public, I would say Andrew Luck. But until then, we're going to go with Steve Smith.
How many of these 3 are going to make the Hall of Fame?
Steve Smith for sure. I mean, Peterson has the credentials, but I think he might get held out a few years because of the child abuse thing. And Andrew Luck, it's early, but I mean, he has the pedigree to become a Hall of Famer.
I'm going to say all 3. They're all 3 going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Who knows?
Andrew Luck won't even have to win a championship. This guy's going to throw for like 60,000 yards in his career.
He could break his leg like Joe Theismann and be done.
I mean, that could happen too. It could happen to anybody.
Dude's
look
beat.
at Steve Smith, but he'll be back.
I like how you call Andrew Luck a Hall of Famer already, but we've been arguing for 5 years whether or not Ben Roethlisberger's won.
See, you keep misunderstanding it. You were saying Ben Roethlisberger should have been in after 7 years. Like, that year, if he retired, he would have been in.
Well, you're giving it to Luck after 4.
No, I'm not. No, if Andrew Luck got hurt right now, he definitely wouldn't make the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about that. But I'm saying this guy's going to throw for 60,000 yards. I always said Ben would be in the Hall of Fame. I just didn't say after year 7, year 8, year 9 he would be in the Hall of Fame.
He'll be there.
Oh, he'll be there.
First ballot.
Probably, man.
All 3 most likely of these guys will make it.
Yeah, please believe. How about Jacoby Jones?
He might make the Hall of Fame of douchebags, if that counts.
And on that note, wrap it up.
All right, fans, follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Keep coming back to YouTube and clicking subscribe. Have a fantastic week. I won my Survivor pick. Thank you, Cincinnati. I hate you, though. 3 guys left. Me and another guy took Cincinnati. 1 guy's picking, I think, the Jaguars. Dumbass.